Okay, guys, we're back with another update. Um, the last video about Rob Reiner and TDS, the Trump Derangement Syndrome. It's a 2-hour video, but worth watching, I think. So if you haven't seen that, navigate to my channel page and to the live videos because I upload all these live. And give it a spin. Take about 10, wait till you get 10 or 15 minutes into it before you decide, because it starts to gather pace, and a lot of great insights in it. It's kind of fun, a little bit funny, some decent goofs and gaffes and laughs, but a lot of really hard science in there about Trump derangement syndrome, and how from like the biochemical level what Trump derangement syndrome is like. It's just inflammation, pretty much, to say it in under 3 seconds. But there further elaborations are you may find edifying and worth your while. So I hesitate to even upload any posts at all remarking on Candace Owens, because I think her misbehavior is so egregious and dreadful and unhealthy for the entire ecosystem and everybody's mental health that it's almost better not to highlight it. We have entered some kind of bizarre era, some kind of opposite day era, where an inversion of the values of the economy that has made us rich, safe, comfortable, healthy, happy, our good economy and its many benefits, an inversion of the incentive structure of that economy is what we see in the social layer in digital, on media. And it's spilling over to the social layer in real life and corrupting everybody. Even people who don't use social media now have to live with this army of millions and millions of people who are being led by no one at all, who are being led by each other, and they're not leading each other. They're not leaders. The guys who made these social media platforms and became billionaires off of it, and millionaires, and just so rich like no one's ever been in the history of the planet, are completely derelict. They've been so demoralized by how much money they made that they don't work anymore. They don't care anymore. They're not even trying. They're asleep. They're drunk and they're asleep. And they are blind and they are lame, and they're not getting anything done to help clean up the mess they caused by releasing these extremely disruptive, and, as we are beginning to see, very destructive forces into society that have begun to disrupt our economy and are costing people a lot of money because of a few stupid errors, just a handful, really, I think, that you could really get a handle on if you were one of the leaders in taking these problems seriously. Just a handful of errors in thinking of what to value, for most of all, just that any form of engagement is a win. Any click, any tap on the screen is a win. Any like, any retweet, repost, any comment is a win. Any post is a win. Most of these are not wins, okay? Most of these are L's. And that is the inverted economy of the social media world, that posting what's wrong, posting something that is blatantly wrong, that is the precise opposite of what is true is rewarded. And that posting what is true is not rewarded. It gets no attention. It's not a problem. You don't need to police something. It's already true. So we have this entire cabal of sarcastic, exaggerating, liars, false prophets who are made, that the social media layer gives you money to do that, pays you to tell people the wrong thing. Now, it makes some kind of logical sense, just as I've laid out, that when you say something that's correct, you don't need policing. And that when you say something that's incorrect, that draws fire, that draws attention, that draws some attempt to correct you. But then the people piling into the reply threads on these posts are also sarcastic, exaggerators, insulting, rude, impolite, uncouth, off topic, greedy little evil little goblins, greedy for error. And what we have created is a factory of error. And everyone using it knows it's that. And the more people use these social media apps, by now in 2025, it's December 16th that I'm recording this. The more people that use this app, the more that they feel demoralized, the more that they begin to lose faith in society, the more that they believe they are surrounded by unreliable, untrustworthy, and violent criminals, is how it feels using social media today. And we saw the ultimate form of destruction, the ultimate end of this dead end line of disquisition fomented by the leaderless forms, these formless forms of social media, in the murder of Charlie Kirk, the Turning Point USA founder, and one of the most vocal and popular supporters of President Trump, at an event to talk to students in Utah, at a college in Utah, about the Bible on September 10th. And the immediate knee-jerk response of all of the libs, the liberals, the tolerant ones, the compassionate ones, the good ones, the good people, the educated, meek, good souls, the pride of the university college system in the United States of America and the American education system. And their response was absolutely brutally wicked, impolity, antisocial, hatefulness, celebrating a murder, celebrating a capital crime, celebrating a nice guy who goes around and talks about books, getting sucker punched with a rifle by someone in the shadows who he didn't know was even going to be there that day, in a fight he wasn't expecting and did not consent to and did not want to be a part of. So in the aftermath of this, what happens? His former partner, Candace Owens, his former business partner, one of the early founders of Turning Point USA, has since then parted ways with Turning Point because they kicked her out because she was too crazy. Starts on a campaign of engagement farming and soaking up as much possible time and attention and emotion over Charlie Kirk's murder that he and his family paid for. His mom and dad paid for it. His two young daughters paid for it. His wife paid for it. He paid for it. All his supporters paid for it. And Candace Owens gets to, by the logic of these social media platforms that say, we just allow free speech and we just let the market, we just let you guys decide what you want to do on these platforms. We're not responsible. We're just like the telephone wire going to your house. We're just like the DSL cable, the coaxial cable going to your house. We're just Comcast, you know? And just whatever you guys do, it's just what you guys are doing. We don't, we're not responsible to be editors, to be publishers. We got all of you on here together in the same place, using the same protocol to do something like this and to change society in such a destructive way. But we're not responsible. We're a utility. We're not a publisher. And so, by the insane, utterly, filthily insane workings of this inverted economy of perverse incentives, Candace Owens gets to who Charlie Kirk doesn't even like, gets to, by saying the worst, by modeling the absolute worst, wrong way, the most antisocial, destructive way to treat other people, gets paid, gets promoted, gets paid more money by all these people. And the X app helps her do it. And YouTube helps her do it. And they say now they say we're not responsible for anything, but they do exercise content moderation. If your account trips something and it's completely opaque, it's a black box, it's not transparent at all. You have no idea why. You have no idea why something you posted gets your account locked. Because you can go back on the app and find 100 examples of other people who posted it and didn't get their account locked and got 100 reposts and 500 likes and 1,000 replies and got promoted and got paid more to post what got your account locked. So it's arbitrary, it's capricious. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just a completely random minefield to add to the utterly grotesque, demoralizing aspects of these social media apps. How can we just make our evil little art project, our simulation of something like hell, just a little bit worse? Just randomly snipe users as well. Just every so often, you just get sniped by the almighty code of the platform, and probably even the product department and app engineers don't know why your account got locked, because the code has now gotten out of their control. No one has a big picture on how it works because they overcomplicated the code to meet the least complicated quota of just the most likes, reposts, and replies, and the most posts that they could get on their app. And they regard any of it as a win. How do we fix this? They need to partner with commercial advertisers. They need to partner with the ad department of commercial advertisers and their ad creative guys who know what they're doing, guys who helped with broadcast over television and radio in the 70s. New York City guys, they need to bring in the Mad Men, the Madison Avenue marketing guys from New York City to fix this. And to help them to make this the simplest number of most appropriate and programmatically correct fixes at a high level, at an overview level of how their app works, that would, in the estimation of the creative ad execs for corporate advertisers with a massive ad dollar to spend, create the user experience that they would be happy to advertise their products against if it does succeed in creating that user experience, which with digital is so easy to program that, to make that smart, to allow that to be more true as it becomes more true in real time. So that you create a system of positive incentives, so that instead of going on these apps and visiting hell and seeing that all their neighbors and all the other citizens of their nation, all the other people in their society created that hell for them, that instead they go and get something good programming. We've got to get these social media apps up to code. They didn't do this to us with television after they got a television in every house. Okay, there were a few people making television, not everybody making television, and they took it seriously, and the government took it seriously. And some knowledgeable, worldly, experienced, capable guys, good storytellers, were able to do something actually pretty good with television. And just light years better than what has happened with social media. That's the best way I could think of to fix it. And there's an inherent economic incentive. These apps can just because it's a social media app doesn't mean it has to be a socialist media app. and which doesn't mean it has to not be a capitalist and try to make money by doing things nice for your customers and making a nice product. And getting people to say things that make them better people and that moralize society and that make your phone fun to use and not a headache and a nightmare and a fight with people you don't know who live all around you. And it seems like you're outnumbered and they're all crazy and evil because the posts that get the most likes and reposts and replies are the ones where they're saying something egregiously, blatantly wrong. And it's just stupid. The thing about it is it's stupid. It's just so stupid. But when there's this much of it, not a nonstop, endless, high volume stream, a torrent of just everything stupid. It's an attack. It's an attack on us. And so, we're letting the virus decide, something stupid and mindless that doesn't share our values, that's parasitic, that uses our energy and power, and that corrodes us, defiles us, denatures us, and is destroying us. And at the volume that this has happened, these apps are breaking the law, and their leaders are breaking the law. And Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are breaking the law. And Sergey Brin and Larry Page or whoever's the the CEO of Google, you're breaking the law. And if you guys don't take it seriously to make something nice for your customers that's good for them and helps make them better people and that's fun to use and that corporate sponsors are happy to advertise their products against, corporate sponsors who the users of the platforms, grandma and grandma, are saving their retirement account with, and produce something of material value to the economy that people spend a reliably growing amount of money on every year to keep them funded, to keep supplying that for the demand for it because of the value it brings to the economy, and who have a stake in that economic growth and who have a stake in the health and the inherent goodness of the people who work this economy, who are the principal sum of this economy, and bring them on as stakeholders. And the guys that own Google, the guys on Wall Street that own Google, you have to get this. They have to get this message, and they have to bring this message to the shareholder meetings, and they have to inundate, because it's your stock. And I promise you, it does not have to stay this way. Google does not have to stay a top 5 market cap stock. You can lose half your money. Other stocks can get capital inflows, and Google can fall behind. And then people who even hold Google can sell it, and something else will take up everyone's time, and we can forget Google just as fast as we all learn to use Google to do everything like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. And TikTok just got purchased. TikTok's guilty too. TikTok has the same problems. And they just got purchased by Rupert Murdoch and Larry Ellison. They're thinking about an IPO soon. And they can just never get to have their IPO. They can have their IPO, and everyone who buys TikTok stock can lose half their money. And the .com crash that took the NASDAQ composite at its record high in March 2000 down to only 20% of that record high, losing 80% of your money in the NASDAQ composite from March 2000 until October 2022. And in less than 36 months, lose 80% of your money. And for every $100 you had in the NASDAQ composite, to have $20 left. And to have to wait for more than a decade until like 2013 to get back to where you were in 2000, in March of 2000. The .com crash. Have we had a social media crash yet? It could happen to you. So, and I don't look, and I don't want it to happen. I'm not gleeful over anybody's downfall. I want people to play their best, and then if they still fall, then it's just better for everyone. It's better for them. They go down with honor. They go down heroes. It was just something else, not them. If they play their best, and then we get their best, and we get a good example, and maybe they win, and maybe they should win if they're playing their best. So I'm not trying to root for your downfall. The reason I'm saying all this is to help. I would like to help. I would like to be at the headquarters, at one of the Facebook headquarters in Austin, and help Facebook with this. Or I would like to help the X app product department. I like these apps. I've used these apps for a long time, and when they first started, it wasn't like this. When they first started, the very first people to be famous on YouTube, the very first people to be famous on, I don't know about Twitter. They're just like politicians and stuff. So those guys are already like this. And they have been since this country was founded. But in a different way, in a way with a different measure than with different paces, so that when these guys did it, they were professionals and they knew what they were doing. When these guys did it, they were funny, and they said when they were sarcastic, they would be sarcastic like two men sitting next to each other at a bar, drinking a cold one and laughing together after work, and just trying to, spitball and make each other laugh like they're playing a video game together or something. And just, find funny ways you could use the words and make your friend laugh over a beer. And they would say, and they'd say things kind of wrong or kind of crazy things that you think of, that you hear some kind of little bird in your ear telling you something that's wrong. That's kind of funny because I don't know how the way they're saying it helps you to find the right answer. If you snap, if you flip, you got to pop out of it. You can't just keep going with what the evil bird says. And that's what these kids don't understand. And they are more and more of them are saying that what the evil bird says and just repeating it like stupid parrots. And they just repeat it louder and they compete with each other to see who can be the worst, most evil bird possible. And the app rewards them for doing it. And they get paid, they get promoted for doing that. And they get paid to do that. And they make more money to do it. And it's not what you're supposed to do. That leads to poverty. What these apps are spreading, the way of thinking and how they're literally wiring the brains, the minds, the decision-making processes, the forward view, the outlook, the world view, how to be successful in life for all these millions of people that paid all the money they did, and their parents paid all the money they did for a college degree to get just defaced and defiled and ruined by the corrupted circuitry of the inverted economy of the social media layer on the internet. Who's going to sue these guys and get their money back? And I don't mean in court, but I think it should. The FTC at some point has a legitimate interest to step in if you guys don't fix it yourself. But I just mean being creative and using your freedom and using your words and using these means, light speed communications. You know, how do we fix this? And get our money back, because they are robbing us. They are stealing from us, and they got paid billions of dollars to do it, and they already got paid. So they need competition, or they need to fix themselves. Or they need government, and they need regulation by the government. And whatever the government does probably won't be the best, and you won't like it. And you'll definitely like it less than fixing it yourself and doing a better job anyway. And it's your job to do that. And you get paid to do that. And you chose that job out of any other job you could have. So you can fix it. So now we have Candace Owens. So now we have Candace Owens, who's either the most stupid, idiotic, evil, nasty person I could possibly think of, or all of that, and brilliant. And actually the biggest genius out of everybody to just go ahead and win this and show you what it looks like as one human person. She's Twitter. Candace Owens is the X app. What's she doing? Like, you know, you start watching her and you're like, what is she even doing? I found the answer for you. I found the key. She's the X app. She's the entire X app. Or by some degrees of separation, like starting from Candace Owens, like a third of the X app that you could get that are like that are all like accounts she follows and interacts with. They interact with her. So she's just talking super fast. Nothing she says has anything to do with the last sentence she just said. She keeps like changing topics, changing aims, just saying a whole bunch of words at you. Just stuffing keywords. She's the keyword stuffing winner of the year. Keyword stuffing is the hero of the year on Twitter. Wrestling, straw men, cheating, and keyword stuffing are the champions and heroes of the X app in 2025. Wrestling straw men, fighting things that aren't real to look cool, and you made up what you're fighting. saying things that are just blatant misinformation and just lookupably false and cheating. Non sequiturs, suddenly changing the entire direction of the thread instead of continuing the thread, and putting together a whole bunch of stuff along lines like a thread, and there's not a thread that anybody can read except the most evil angel, the nastiest angel from like so many dimensions up, by complete happenstance with the sheer number of keys that they have. Oh, sorry. With the sheer number. Sure. Some like ninth dimensional angel. You know, we're like three-dimensional angels, right? Coordinating through the fourth dimension. And we have a certain number of keys that you can put together in the ways you can put keys together. And you can count them. It's a number.
Yeah. You want to do me a favor?
Oh, yeah.
You mind taking your voice down?
Oh, yeah. And you can count. They seem to be fine. They seem to actually like it.
No, they don't. Take your voice down.
Do you think you're a better observer of people than me?
Yeah.
You're wrong. They like it. So, all right. So Panera is a place where people come to use their laptops to do business. That's when it's like a welcoming, inviting environment for you to use your laptop to do business. And people talk in Panera. So, and the sheer disrespect for nature, the sheer dishonesty and lack of integrity here, the lack of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. The sheer utter the exact opposite, in fact, the in real life example of what I'm talking about happening on Twitter, where you have to forget what you know is true and that is something important, and pretend like you don't know it in order to lie and deceive yourself to run over other people. Isn't that right, Michael? Isn't it right, Mike? Thank you. The sheer lack of respect for nature.
You need to be quiet or you have to leave.
Okay.
We've asked you 2 times and you keep.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
You are though, because people are trying to eat and they're being too loud.
You guys are irritated. They like it. Look at them smiling. Is she smiling?
They're not laughing at you or smiling at you.
They are. Actually, I noticed they were.
Ask them?
Sure, yes. Actually, yeah, that'd be great. Oh. So they don't have a problem. Problem solved. They don't have a problem. You do. And you're getting paid to work here. They're the paying guests, and I'm a paying guest, and they don't have a problem. So problem solved. You're trying to force yourself on me. Don't do that.
I'm not forcing myself.
Yes, you are.
No,
Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. We're going to continue the stream on a live business call. Listen.
You don't need to stand up and talk to me. I was asking you nicely.
Well, I just want to get on the same eye level with you so you're not over me.
Yeah, no,
Because I felt like you had climbed on top of me, and like that's what you're doing. You're just climbing on top of me and forcing yourself.
I'm not forcing myself.
You just answered that they don't have a problem.
I'm sorry, you're being too loud. I've asked you multiple times on other days for you to just be quieter.
They don't have a problem.
It's
I'm a
not
guest.
just
You're
about
getting paid to be here.
It's not just about them. I had multiple customer complaints yesterday. All I was doing was asking you to.
Okay, well, you don't have them today, and that's so I'm not causing a problem. And I'm not doing what I was doing yesterday that got those complaints.
Okay.
Is that address all your problems?
Okay, no, keep talking loud and then you're gonna have to leave.
Okay, sure.
So you need to be quiet.
That was so embarrassing when they said, no, we don't have a problem with them. You were like, you were so sure if I went and asked it, if you went and asked him, it would help you. I'm on actually a business call. You are being very rude to me. So see how the breakdown of society, like, see what I'm saying rings so true and it's so good that these guys who are getting paid to work here and to serve me as the customer are trying to and they're a bunch of kids. I am twice these guys' age, and they're acting like I'm some kind of hoodlum, some kind of youth hoodlum coming through here, causing problems, and like they're the grown-up policing me, and they have no respect for their elders. These Gen Z kids, man, they have no respect for grown-ups. I'm twice all these guys' age, and they're coming at me like I'm a kid causing problems, like I'm in trouble with them. And I'm the guest, and they're getting paid to work here. And the other guests are actually enjoying my talk. It's just unbelievable how degenerate our society's become. I'm not doing anything wrong. They are. You know, but the only place for a moral man in immoral times is jail, I guess. You know, the message of the Bible is don't do to Jesus what they do in the Bible. But these Gen Zs never read it, so they don't know. They don't know what you're supposed to do. They don't know how to be a human. And all they have is social media, and it's not teaching them how. See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These guys don't have any guides to teach them what you're supposed to do. They are lost. They are lost children. They got kidnapped, man. Their parents lost them. Their grandparents lost all their kids. These kids got kidnapped by Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk, the guys that started ByteDance and the TikTok app. These kids got kidnapped, bro. They don't know what you're supposed to do. They don't know how to be social. Social media has made it impossible, or it made it pretty much, it's not impossible. Now, if they could switch their information diet to something with morals in it, then they could be moral. But these are not moral people. They are immoral. They don't have morality. They don't know what to do. All they have is the rules of whoever's paying them money, and they just follow the process. And they coast on the momentum of just the manners that they observe around them, that they got from their parents and grandparents, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't know why we have those manners. They don't know what those manners actually accomplish as specified coded keys in an interaction between members of a society. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to party. They are lame at parties. Millennials are too. They are not fun at parties. They are boring to party with. That's why they don't have parties. That's why when I was growing up, people had house parties. When I was growing up, you throw a house party and all your friends, and they were fun. Going to a house party was a blast. The people around were smart and funny and cool to party with. They knew how to party. They were fun to hang out with. These kids are not, because they don't know what to do. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they've been doing. These guys who were educated by public education did not learn from their school. They didn't learn from their parents. They didn't learn from church if they went to church, and they did not learn from the social media apps. They certainly learned the opposite. The social media apps that now take up more and more hours of their everyday, what to do. They never learned, and they don't know they don't even know what they're doing and why people do it that way. And they break the rules all the time, and they're stupid animals. They're stupid animals that follow their animal instincts to their own destruction, because they don't know how social programming, morality, code works, so that to fix those problems. They don't know, man. and that you could use them for anything. You could start the next civil war with them. You could start the next Holocaust and racial scapegoat and ethnic genocide in the contiguous 48 United States with them. You got them, and you could do anything you want with them. They're young skulls full of mush. There's nothing there except the dollars they get paid to pay their bills every month. And at a party, they are useless. They're no fun. And at encountering anything at all that is outside the flow chart of their process of what they're supposed to do at work and what the rules are, if they encounter anything outside that process, they don't know what to do. They have either no confidence and break down and fail to do the right thing that an intelligent human being would do to be the eyes and ears and the heart and soul and mind and good sense of the organization they work for that's paying them to be that, and that's using its money for them to be that, and they're not able to do that. That's why they make these processes so simple, and that's why customers are just so polite. Is that these things are easy bake ovens that a caveman could operate, and it's what these guys are, because they haven't really been educated. They went through 12 years of school, but they have not been educated. They don't know what you're supposed to do. They have no idea. They lose confidence and don't know what to do and break down when there's anything outside their simple process and set of rules, what you're supposed to do and what not to do. And they get overconfident when they want to break one of the rules themselves, that they're always so afraid to break to do the right thing when they're supposed to do the right thing. And the organization would understand that it's a matter of common sense. So that's what's happening. And these guys they're such low value people in a high value society. They themselves don't value themselves. They don't try to get a boyfriend or girlfriend. They don't try to get married. They're not going to try to have kids. They say, I don't want to bring kids into this evil world. They say, I would rather have my own free time, and then we have to replace them with immigrants. We have to replace them with people from somewhere else that all this hasn't happened to yet, and that still have an ethnicity, which is their cultural and their manners and their morality. It's their cultural, it's their social, it's their economic morality that emerged from a time that hasn't been disrupted by all this, like World War II and all of it, and twisted so out of shape by something like World War II, and that they've preserved that morality till now, and they still have it in some of these places, and in fact the places that most want to move here and take a turn at being Americans in the United States. And we have an enormous demand and need for them, because the ones we've got here are duds. They're duds, and unless you can write them all off and just say, just let them all, just wait it out until they're all gone in 70 or 80 years. But I wouldn't count on that, man. They can cause so many problems for you if you don't fix it. You better fix it. I wouldn't take a chance on leaving these Nazis like this. They're not Nazis, but they're stem cells that you could turn into Nazis, and there's millions of them. They're anybody's who actually wants them, and they want somebody to want them. They know they've been let down. They know they haven't been invested in. They know that they've been abandoned. They know it. They know they haven't been invested in. They know no one loved them. They know they're just here, and that they're just policed, and that's it. And they figured it out along the way. And their own parents told them, you're a piece of shit. And they were beautiful little children when their parents told them it. And they told it to them in the grocery store right in front of me. Tell your beautiful little 3-year-old girl, you're a piece of shit, you're in trouble. And she's not doing anything wrong at all. She's just a beautiful, good animal and a kid. and not doing anything wrong. She has some energy. She's a kid. She's a human. She's an animal. You fed her well. Praise God. She got enough to eat, and she's got energy, and she likes gravity, and she's still so new to gravity. She thinks it's fun to just jump and skip and bounce like that and feel the gravity and think about the gravity. And she thinks the gravity's funny, and she likes the gravity because she's still that new to it. And then the parents look at her, and it's your own beautiful little girl, and it's just a kid. She's still almost just a baby. She's basically just a baby that walks and talks. And the parent tells them in front of me, "You're a piece of shit. You're in huge trouble." And they're not doing anything wrong at all. And they do that, at the grocery store in front of others. And so at home, I imagine it's probably worse. And I just know what these parents do. I know what these Gen Xers and boomers did to us. I know what they did. And then they abandoned you. And instead of helping you and teaching you everything they knew and trying to build a legacy and taking advantage of generational currency and wielding generational power, which is valuable in the eyes of God and blessed by archangels in heaven when you do that you get good luck, that you even get magic with the help of archangels in heaven who see you and who are constituted of beings that saw you before you were born because they're made of light and that helped pay for you, that love you, that see you better than you see yourself, and that has spent time on you, that don't brag about you to others and get you in trouble, that keep others off you so that your life can be simple enough that you can actually not just get crushed by the weight of everybody around you who has nothing to do with you and doesn't support your life, being attracted to you and wanting to surround you, climb on top of you, and crush you. Like the asteroid belt around Mars, whose rocks would pummel the Earth and destroy all life on it if it weren't for the gravitational force of Jupiter in the wider belt around them, pulling those asteroids back as it moves around the sun and preventing them from crashing down the hill of gravity toward the sun and pummeling the Earth until it was out of orbit and there was no life on it possible. And your guardian angels do that for you. And everybody has always said so as long as anyone was ever talking or writing things down, writing messages down for others to read later in every language across the entire planet. And they said it in the movie, all of the most popular movies approved by the government that you watched in the past 100 years. And all of the lyrics of the songs that are most popular on the radio that the people love the most and were approved by the government for the last 100 years. And that's what they all said. And nowadays, everybody says, everybody who didn't read any of that, listen to any of it, watch any of it, or learn from any of it. People who have spent their lives looking at what their completely novice, beginner, completely unknowledgeable, not scholars, friends posted for them to read on their phones, and not what the authorities have written. The truly least educated population in the history of the world arising in the richest empire in the world. And they will say that all of these writings that they have not read are false, and that they don't, and that they're unscientific and only uneducated people read them, and that there's no evidence that any of it's true, and they've never investigated to see if there is. They've literally spent not 1 minute investigating to see if there's any evidence that all of what the authorities have ever said in writing until about 50 years ago has any evidence to support it. They've spent not 1 minute, who so many of them will say there's no evidence for it, and they will not even begin to find just if they're right or wrong, to repeat that to others and to keep their friends from crashing down to earth like the evil Jupiter. And the asteroids are their friends, and we want them to crash down to earth and stop being these space cadets and come to earth and live here where it's real and it's actually happening. So this is what I'm talking about. So these guys get Candace Owens. So if they become interested in politics, what they're going to find is Candace Owens, or whatever they're interested in, probably has its own Candace Owens that's doing the same thing right about now on the calendar. And they don't know what to do with that. It took me a while to figure it out. It took me a few days to figure it out. And no one knows the answer. I've seen a lot of people attempt to guess what it is, and the leaders, the most popular guys with the most followers, who are some of the smartest guys, trying to guess the answers to these things, and they don't know what the answer is. And I found it. She's Twitter. She's the X app. She's doing what the X app's been doing. And most people don't get past the answer that I told you earlier, that she's somehow making all this money from Charlie Kirk dying, and saying and doing what not just from him dying, but him dying and her doing the opposite of what you're supposed to do to create a society that doesn't lead to poverty. You and the people around you to poverty if you do it. And model that for everybody as an example. And get promoted, get paid. But a lot of people hate her for doing it. Gosh, it's a risky business, and it's something so I wouldn't think to act that way. She's got some kind of courage or stupidity that I just don't even have that kind in me, because I wouldn't go for trying to be the worst example possible and just try to, I don't know exactly if she knows that's what she's doing. Social media could be using her to do that, and she doesn't know that's what she's doing. She might not even know. Probably doesn't. I don't know. Maybe she does. For something like that, if I did, I would try and leave like a dated, notarized, proof of that somewhere that they would all find until later and go, guys, I knew what I was doing. Just to, be more scientific, so that people can discount that whether I knew what I was doing or not, and move on and find answers of something else in a more definitely specified world. So that's how I think. That's the kind of citizen I try to be. That's the kind of way I try to help and fit in and be a good citizen, be good for the people around me, people influenced by me. For people to come around trying to tell me what to do or think they're the boss while I'm paying them, while they're getting paid and I'm helping pay. I don't think anybody probably spends as much money around here as I do, to be honest. For them to think they're my boss, they can't code. These guys, and they don't know how to code. They've never been taught, and they don't have the keys. They haven't been taught to code, and they haven't practiced using the different keys to learn how it all works. And they're probably not happy with it. And it's not necessarily a write-off. It could be a write-off, but maybe what it could be is you know, the government takes it seriously, that it's a threat and that it's an opportunity at the same time. And that if the government, you know, and I don't mean necessarily like the literal government, but the governance of the app, the companies that own the app and make money from it, the companies that own the stock, the companies that own the app and make money from it, you know, if they take this seriously, what is really happening and their role in it. All those guys on Twitter saying learn to code, you know, and teach the users how to code and teach them morality and make them moral people so we can have better citizens, so we can have better people, we can have better families, we can have nicer neighborhoods, we can have more money. Everyone can make more money. Life could be more beautiful. And it's your job and you're getting paid to do it, and it's the job you chose to do. So, you know, like, I don't know what else there is to do other than that or burn in hell. You know, you need conviction. You know, I hope what I'm telling you is conviction for you if you see what I'm saying and agree. And that you see that must be conviction. So, okay, that's a good place to stop. That's it. That's what Candace Owens doesn't want you to know. Oh, and by the way, I'm supported on Patreon. There's a link in the description. I'm supported by viewers like you.